Welcome to the Recalibrated Woman Conversations, where we dive into raw and real and refreshing conversations with inspiring women who embrace transformation, resilience, and purpose. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce Dinah Taylor. Dinah Taylor is a licensed marriage and family therapist, and she is able to get you right, honey, to help you with coping mechanisms, to deal with your feelings, to help you get. She provides counseling for families, she provides counseling for women, children, everyone. So if you're in need of a good, godly counselor, look up Miss Dinah Taylor. She has what you need. She is here to share her journey and wisdom on what it truly means to be a holistic woman. Let's welcome Dinah Taylor on today. Good morning. How are you? Can
I
you hear
am
me?
wonderful. I can now. Yes, a little bit of static, but I can hear you. Yes, I am good. I am good on this wonderful Thursday. Trying to figure out what this
Yes,
weather is
ma'am.
doing, but all is well.
Right.
How are
All
you?
is well. I'm doing so well. I'm excited to have you join us this year for Empowering the Holistic Woman during our Recalibrated Conference. It is going to be an awesome time. I'm just so grateful for you. Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. You want the long story or the short story? Which one you want?
You can give us a short story, and that way that'll keep them wanting more for the conference.
Absolutely. So my name is Dinah Taylor. Like she said, I am a licensed marriage and family trauma therapist. And what that means is there are some people who tend to focus on the individual. I tend to focus on the family system as a whole. My mom would say a long time ago, a chain doesn't rattle by itself. And so we believe in doing family and systemic work. And so we bring the whole family in and we talk about all the things and we talk about generational curses and generational trauma, and we try to get to the bottom of it, to the root of it. I've been doing this now for about 6 years, and I love it. I absolutely enjoy it. We do really, really good work. I have a wonderful husband, and I have two teenagers. They're 17 and 16. They're juniors now, and so next year they'll be seniors. So y'all pray my strength in the Lord, because yeah, it's a lot happening at the same time. But love the work that I do. It is good work, and I definitely believe so much of the work is within our churches and within community. So that's yeah, love the work.
Yes, yes. We got to love the work to do what you do, definitely. So, when you hear the term holistic woman, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so I would imagine, especially with this conference that you all are having, which I think is an amazing idea, because I think sometimes when we think of the holistic woman, we don't really think about how it encapsulates every and all the things that we do. And so when I think of the holistic woman, of course, we know that it involves your body, your mind, and your soul. And in the work that I do, I really work with the soul and the mind of what's going on with a lot of our women and a lot of our families. And so I think in order for you to be holistic, I think that one of the things that is so important, or a few of the things, is that you walk authentically in who you are and who God called you to be. So many of us are kind of walking around with a mask and walking around not necessarily sure who we are. And so I think so much of being holistic is not just, making sure that you take care of your mind, your body, but also taking care of your mind and your spirit. And so I think it's this place of kind of walking out of abundance instead of fear, and really understanding that this work is really a journey. It is not something that, oh, that's my finish line, like that's where I want to be. But it's really sort of kind of like you have these mile markers. I don't know if you hike at all, but I like to hike. I've actually started that a few years ago, and so it's a really good thing. But they have these mile markers, and I think that that holistic journey is really like that. Like we have these mile markers that we want to accomplish or that we want to get to. There's really no finish line.
Mhm. And I think sometimes that's the problem because we're looking for that finish line. And so we feel so unaccomplished within ourselves and we don't feel whole because we're looking at that finish line. We're looking at that goal to reach. And yes, there are some different goals in life that we have that we can reach and find milestones in. But as you said, it's a evolving journey. I mean, with every step, you're getting to a new mile marker, you get into a new place, a new level of maturity. And so it's important that as women, especially because we wear so many hats, that we realize that. And then trying to make peace with that and knowing that it's not going to be an all encompassing thing, but it's going to be a continual development of things. And so, how does faith play a role in the journey? Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
No, 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 you're good. Yes, 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 that's so good. So, of course, I got the opportunity to meet you at a pastor summit. Was that last year or I can't remember? Was it
Yes,
last year or the
ma'am.
year before last?
Last year.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, so you know that I am really, really involved in my church and I'm really involved in this faith walk. And so many people don't know, but I am a PK. And I don't know if, what they say about some of it's true about what they say about previous kids, some of it may not be, but
Right.
I was raised holiness. And, this holiness was like long skirts, we washed feet, like we did all the things, like we tarried at the altar. So that's how I grew up. I grew up in that old time religion that a lot of people now, modern churches, don't really know a whole lot about. But we rarely talked about like how we were doing inwardly. We did a whole lot of
Mhm.
conversations about our spiritual walk, which is so very, very important. But I just remember just seeing people suffering and suffering mentally and not really knowing what to do, how to do. And so along the way, I just realized that, like what the faith is so important to us, but I think sometimes we look at only that, and I think we don't always consider the tools that could be very beneficial in this faith walk. And so I believe that you can have both. I believe that you can have Jesus and you can have therapy.
Yes, and I think they're both important. And I think the problem lies is when people use therapy as Jesus. And so they don't realize that your
Mm,
therapy is not your God, you know, but God created therapists to help us. And if some of those people in the Bible probably would have had therapists, their life stories might have been a little bit different. And I think, as you said, growing up in the church, things like mental health issues were taboo because we just were supposed to pray them away and fast them
yes.
away. But I believe that God gives us everything that pertains to every area of our life. And if we be truthful, if we go and look at it, look at David. David was depressed. He went through a season of depression. And we just didn't have the term to acknowledge what it was. But he went through a season of depression. And I think about the prophet Nathan, who came to David, was almost like a counselor because David had been trying to hide for so long what he had done with Bathsheba, trying to push it under the rug. But when
Yes.
Nathan came and was like, listen, Comfort knows. That was like a thing because it pulled it out of him and it helped him to be delivered. Because sometimes we think if it's hidden, then we're over it. But that's not the truth. It's until a trigger comes up that we realize that that is still in us. But I believe that we all need a therapist. We do. We do. And so I thank God for the work that you
Yes.
I thank you for the work that you do. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I
Yes.
tell my church often, I say, many of us need a whole lot of prayer and a little bit of medicine. I'm just saying, just a little bit will help you. Just a little bit will help you. So, with that being said, like faith is very important. And I think sometimes growing up, we focus so much on the spiritual aspect that we forgot that we still have to live in this world. We still have to be equipped financially. We still have to be equipped as far as physically. It's not just spiritual. We're just not one dimensional. And I think once we
Right.
come from out of that concept, we'll be more open to receiving therapy. We'll be more open to receiving counseling in areas. Because yes, God will give us the tools and strategies, but He will also give people to help us through those. He will give people to help us
That's
through
so
those.
good. That is so good,
Yes.
Pastor Chanel. I think because we look at it like we go to a doctor, like if we have ailments in our bodies, if
Mhm.
my knee is hurting, I'm probably going to go and get it checked out. If I know that I'm
Right.
having constant headaches, I'm going to go to a doctor. And so the same thing. Sometimes we get stuck in this inward world where it causes us to really sort of downplay or downshift this thing that we call life. And so, I think a lot of times we don't really get the opportunity to live our full true selves because of whether it's unprocessed trauma, or whether it's childhood dysfunction, or whether it was a
Yeah.
bad divorce, or whether, we just didn't get everything we needed as children. And so I tell people all the time, some of us are survivors of war zones in our own homes. And so we didn't get that opportunity to be nurtured and to be loved. And so that creates really deep wounds that don't just always go away. It really sort of follows us into adulthood if we don't do the work. And so you mentioned a few minutes ago that sometimes we sort of, tuck it under the rug, or we don't necessarily deal with it. But the truth is, God can do so much. But if we are
Yeah.
tucking it away, then that means that we don't trust
Mhm.
God to do the healing. And so we have to give
Absolutely.
Him that thing that bothers us, that thing that causes wounds, that those things that keep us stuck. And we say, "Here, God, this is what I have. And I want you to do something with it," instead of hiding it and tucking it away and pretending that it never happened.
Yes, yes, that is so good. Yeah, that is so true. Oh, I can't get into too much more because they've got to wait to the conference to hear everything that you have to say. Because I'm telling y'all
I
are going to be
cannot
so
wait.
good.
I can't wait.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. So, one more question for you. If being a
Yes.
holistic woman had a theme song, what would yours be?
Oh, a theme song. I'm probably gonna go, and this is definitely not a Christian song, so I hope that's okay. But I'm probably gonna go with
It is
Shaka
what
Khan's
it
song. I am every woman. Like, I think that that
is.
is that
Everybody
to me sticks out.
yes,
Exactly.
yes, yes. Oh, yes, that's good. Actually, when I wrote this question, I thought about that same song. So, yes,
Such a
yes,
good
yes, yes. And
song.
see,
Empowering.
it really is. It really is. Because we have to own who we are and realize that, God created us to be more than just a Christian, more than just a Holy Ghost filled person. And we thank God for that because that sets the tone and the stage for our life. But we have to realize that that's just not who we are. One, I promise you, this is the last thing.
You're
What's
good.
one unexpected life moment that shaped your journey as a holistic woman? Something you never saw coming, but completely transformed how you see yourself today.
Wow. I'll definitely say, and I don't always talk about this a whole lot, but I will probably say, there's so many things that I could probably say that shaped my life. I would probably say having children. Um, when my husband and I had kids, we were very young. I mean, early 20s. Didn't really know a whole lot, and sometimes you tend to parent based on how you were raised, and you realize, like, wait a minute, that ain't working. And so I myself got a
Yeah.
therapist. I'd say all Pastor Marcia, who you had an opportunity to meet, has grown me so much in the walk of motherhood and being a wife. Um, and so I think having a children, like, I didn't want to pass those things down to my own kids. And so having my daughter and seeing, like, she looks so much like me, I didn't want her to experience all of the things that I did. And so having my children really sort of caused me to do an about face and to really sort of face some of those things that were bothering me internally. Yeah.
Got you. Yes, that will do it. That will do it. Yes, and it's a blessing in disguise. It really is. But one lasting thought that you will want anyone to take away from our conversation on today that you may want to give to them, a little nugget or something
Yeah,
to
like
those
I said it
listening.
earlier, like, you can have both. You can have a therapist and you can have a pastor too. You can have both. If your therapist, which I will proudly say I have a therapist, then you could have one too. Don't be ashamed about it. Again, you can have both. You don't have to choose. You can walk this walk with him, and we can give these things to the Lord, and He can help us process all of these things. But we get the help that you need. We don't have to, you know,
Yeah.
shy away from it.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for sharing with us on today. I really appreciate your wisdom, your gems of knowledge, and I cannot wait until April the 11th through the 13th to have you. And her class is going to be titled "Owning Your Feelings." So she is going to give us ways to prioritize our mental health, ladies, because mental health is very important. It affects your overall health. Like she said, you go to the doctor for everything else, Why not get a therapist? Amen. Why not get a therapist? So we are so excited to have you. And thank you again for taking the time out of your day just to have this conversation with me. It means so much to me. I appreciate you in every way, Dana. I appreciate
Absolutely.
you in every way.
Can't wait.
Yes. Well, God bless you. Yes. And we will talk soon. We will talk soon. You have a good rest of your day. So, hey, ladies, you heard it yourself from Dinah Taylor. You can have both. It's okay to still have a pastor and have a therapist. Listen, they're quite essential in our life, especially in this day and time that we are dealing with and going through. Learning to be that whole woman means that we have to give ourselves and provide opportunities for ourselves holistically. So, this is just a taste of the powerful conversations that are going to happen during our Empowering the Holistic Woman weekend. If you are ready to refocus, renew, and step boldly into your next season, don't miss this life changing event. April 11th through the 13th. Get your tickets today. Secure your spot today. You can go online. The link will be listed below and grab your tickets. Bring someone with you so that you can be empowered holistically.